So Chris, will Dangerfield, Henry and Martin be in the starting 22 on Saturday?
Yeah, they'll be in our in the squad that we released tonight. Obviously, the Thursday before a Sunday game. It's just a wider squad, isn't it, Mac?
Yep.
Tonight, but yeah, you know me well enough to know I don't announce our 22 this far out. But those three guys you mentioned will be in our 23. Yeah.
Is there any others that will come into the mix that weren't in the 22-23 last week?
No, I don't think so. No, I think it'll be the 23 from last week plus the two that didn't play, Martin and Dangerfield.
In terms of VFL guys, Ken Guthrie pushing to return, Mitch Duncan as well, will they both line up on Saturday in VFL?
Yeah, they're both going to play, which is good. It's exciting for us. And I think Cam just had a little bit of a unrelated hiccup to his previous, unrelated to his previous injury anyway. Otherwise, he would have played last week. But yeah, it's good for him to get some game time. So we're sort of optimistic and open-minded as to what the next few weeks might look like for them. College Asney getting another game in there probably fits in that category as well.
No Brody Grundy certainly helps Reece's task on Sunday.
I'd never think of it that way. So Laddams, I'm assuming, will come in. McLean's pretty seasoned player now. Grundy's been in good form, but I don't think it's as if they're going from the best ruckman in the comp to someone significantly below him. We've got a lot of respect for what Laddams can do. So, yeah.
Are you a little bit concerned about your ruck stocks at the moment? Obviously, with Toby Conway going down.
Well, it depends which way you look at it. I mean, we're still unsure as to what Toby's issue is. There's a strong case that this would be a minor setback for him, but with one VFL game to go, a minor setback still limits your options. But the other way of looking at our squad, which again we don't go to great pains to explain, but we tend to play a lot of guys on the field at any one time who can all play in the ruck. Shannon Neal's 203 centimetres. We're confident that he will do more ruck work over time. Blitzarves has been a unique player for a long time. De Koning's 204 centimetre key back. So it's not as if we're just looking outside of the 23 that play for ruck backups. We think we've got them within the team as well.
How is Toby Conway going? Obviously, it seems like he's sort of come back a few times, and then it's another setback. And he hasn't played more than 3 games in the past year. But how is he going with everything?
We're uncertain. Like it'd be premature to. For me to give my opinion on how things are going, because the people that are really across it, the medical staff, aren't quite sure yet. So they're taking their time to make sure they get it right. And there is no time pressure at the moment. He's not playing this week, obviously, and that's our last VFL game. But the one thing I'd say about Toby's issues this year is he had a back issue that held him up for a long, long time. And that was his primary issue, and he's well and truly recovered from that. Now he's just had a hiccup with I'm going to call it his ankle. There'll be more clarity over the next few days, I think. But it would be more concerning to me if this was just the same injury over and over again. It hasn't been that way. And I don't mind saying publicly, our position is he's a long-term player for us. And if there is some short-term frustration, and by short-term I mean over the next couple of years, in the context of a 12 or 14-year career, a couple of years is short-term, we're going to persist with him. So that speaks enough to how highly we rate his potential.
I mean more emotionally, psychologically, in terms of how he's feeling. I've sort of had a lot of setbacks along the way, and I imagine he'd be pushing to potentially make that final side, and then another hiccup, as you say.
You have to ask him. I don't speculate on players' psychological states.
No finals at GMHBA. It's probably not a surprising decision towards you, but is it something you would like to see in the future?
A long time ago I stopped trying to work out what the AFL's process was with finals. That's a decision for them. They've been clear all the way through that they decide where finals are played. And again, like my comment generally about home games refers to the in-season, the home and away. So I feel really strongly that clubs should get to play their home games wherever they choose. And then when it reverts to finals, the AFL have got to decide how they prioritise things like attendance, integrity, fairness, all those sort of things. That's a question for them to answer.
Obviously, an extended break for the club, and Geelong's renowned for giving players maybe more leeway or a bit more balance with putting in their stuff outside of their life. Were you aware Bailey Smith was up in the Gold Coast, and is that no problem at all for you guys, business as usual?
Yes, and what was the second bit?
Oh, like is it business as usual, no problem whatsoever with him being interstate?
Yes.
And obviously, always sort of a media circus with Bailey. I mean, do you think that there has been obviously some speculation and rumours off the field? Do you think that would have impacted him at all on field in the lead up to finals?
No.
And do you feel he has handled? There's been a lot of media surrounding him this year. Do you think he has handled all of that, really well considering?
I do. Yeah.
Chris, can I just ask you in regards to, obviously, with the VFL finishing, how does it look for those on the outside looking in at the 23 in terms of keeping them at a level that you want them to be come September?
It's a challenge. It's not ideal having a bye going into finals when there's an AFL bye after that. But there is a possibility. Am I able to speak to this? Yeah. I think there's a possibility that we'll get some match practice against another team in that week, which will obviously be helpful. And then the training part of it, which we rate really highly as well, I think gives those guys an opportunity to be available through that period. I don't think it's a long enough period of time for us to think they just haven't had enough footy to be considered. We would prefer them to have played a little bit more. But most clubs sort of go through these issues towards the end of the year. You can't have much say in your schedule. You can't have much say other than playing better, whether your VFL team makes the finals and those sort of things. So forewarned is forearmed with that stuff, and we feel like we've got a process that we'll have a big squad available for our finals games if that opportunity presents.
8 quarters between now and September. Are you still just tweaking a couple of things through that 8 quarters to make sure that it's September where you want to be, or is it the tweaking even continuing into September?
I think it does. I'd be surprised. It's so tight. I'd be surprised if any team sort of plays one game in the finals and thinks, beautiful, all right, we don't need to think about how we might adjust next week or think about the opposition. Again, my view is, if these days ever existed, they're long gone now, where you just disregard the way the opposition set up. So we think hopefully those evolutions and those little tweaks will be smaller, but it's obviously so tight, so there's no room for sort of mucking around or experimenting. But we are still trying to improve our game. We think we've got some areas that we can work on. Fortunately, for the most part, we've had pretty good stability and cohesion with our personnel. But let's just take an isolated example. Like every sort of game that Jack Martin can get with his teammates, I think is going to sort of improve sort of his understanding of the way they play and the way we want to play collectively. So, yeah, we still see the opportunities left in those 8 quarters.
Andrew Dillon's come out this morning and pushed for maximum term contract lengths after seeing, these big 10-year deals handed out to players. Is that something you would support as a footy club?
I don't know. I haven't put much thought into it, but does he have to push for anything? He just does it, doesn't he?
It's a new CBA with the AFL.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's part of the negotiations.
I would hate to give an answer that hasn't that I haven't given the requisite thought to. I'd like to know more of the detail in and around it, and I don't want to evade your question, but I can understand the AFL's reticence to tick off on very, very long-term deals, especially if it means the possibility of when they blow up, or if they blow up, then the AFL being asked to come in and pick up the pieces, which, I mean, in my view, they do too much anyway. So maybe getting ahead of these things makes a bit of sense, but I'm thinking out loud a bit.
Just on the tension around Bailey, I mean, did you know that this was coming 12 months ago, the tension on and off the field around him? Has it surprised you?
You really are embracing the News Corp model, aren't you? Keep going. I know you have to ask the questions.
Yeah, I was just wondering, has it surprised you at all, the level of it?
No. He has exceeded our expectations in terms of his impact on field, off field, the way he's got on with his teammates. And we're also fully aware that we were bringing in a big personality who has a life outside of footy, and that there would be some interest in that. Now, the fact that I'm not interested in it at all is, and I don't really want to talk about it because I just have nothing to contribute to it, and my strong preference would be not to be aware of that discussion at all. But I get briefed, so I'm sort of vaguely aware of it. But again, they don't get much from me either on this stuff. But again, I just reinforce, if we were hoping for a 7 out of 10 from Bailey, we've got a 10 so far.
Another thing you probably don't want to talk about, Rowan Marshall, you interested in bringing him to the footy club?
That's a question that I find really difficult to answer. I think I generally answer them by following up with another question, which might be, would we be interested in Marcus Bontempelli? Well, yes, but it also depends, because we're not at all costs with these sort of things. My suspicion is, to your question about Rowan, that's being spoken about a lot more by people outside of Geelong than people inside.